Good morning and welcome to Korea Today, live from Seoul.
The country's intelligence agency seeks a warrant to detain a left-leaning lawmaker suspected of conspiring to revolt against the government, while the man in question denies the charges.
Lists of names hoping to be considered for the upcoming inter-Korean family reunions have been exchanged between the two Koreas. Details coming up in the headlines.
How are the newspapers covering the heated controversy surrounding the lawmaker? I have all the details coming up on In Print.
A decade of English radio broadcasting, Korea's first all-English radio station, Arirang Radio, hits the 10-year mark. We'll get up close and personal with its growth and expansion. And spicing up your palate can give you that extra kick you need. Today, we visit a chili farm to pick some of the hottest and freshest chilies and cook up mouth-watering dishes on Friday, August 30th, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
Good Friday morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Good morning. The Park Geun-hye administration has put increasing jobs at the top of their priorities, but it doesn't look like that job of increasing the job market will be that easy.
That's right. According to a survey done by Job Portal and Crude on some 770 companies in Korea on their plans to hire in the second half of this year, fresh out of college graduates, only 36.6% said that they would be hiring, and this figure is similar to that of the second half of 2009 towards the end of the global financial crisis.
And half of conglomerates that participated in this survey said they would be hiring, but the problem comes with the small to medium-sized businesses where they hovered at only about the mid-30 percentile on hiring.
That's right. So job seekers out there, hang in there.
Yes.
There is light at the end of this tunnel.
That's right. Much more coming up on Korea Today. We'll start with your headlines with Na Hyun-kyung.
The controversy over whether a sitting lawmaker has participated in a conspiracy for rebellion continues to rattle the political arena. Upon the request of the National Intelligence Service, prosecutors filed for a warrant early Friday to temporarily detain minor opposition Unified Progressive Party lawmaker Lee Seok-gi. Now, this comes after NIS officials continued to raid Lee's office at the National Assembly on Thursday.
We cannot approve of having the Unified Progressive Party's official documents on the list of items subject to confiscation. It's unacceptable.
Currently, warrants for lawmakers cannot be examined unless the parliament greenlights it. Representative Lee and some 10 other left-leaning figures are accused of planning a rebellion and violating the national security law. The spy agency has reportedly obtained audio files of the group talking about preparing weapons and destroying public offices, including police stations and the nation's weapons supply in case of an emergency. South and North Korea have exchanged lists of candidates for next month's inter-Korean family reunions at the Mount Kumgang Resort. Red Cross officials say a list of 250 South Koreans wishing to meet their loved ones in North Korea was sent through a channel at the Truce village of Panmunjom on Thursday. Seoul also received a list of 200 names from Pyongyang. Officials will check whether those on the list are alive and in good condition to participate in the reunions before finalizing the list to 100 by September 16th. Now, meanwhile, the two Koreas Joint Committee on the Management of Inter-Korean Kaesong Business Complex will convene a first meeting next Monday. An official at Seoul's Unification Ministry says once the first meeting takes place, it will only be a matter of time before operations resume at the complex. Korea's foreign ministry is considering delivering a diplomatic statement to Japan, urging the discussion of compensation for the so-called comfort women who were forced into wartime sexual slavery by the Japanese military in the past, stressing that many sex slave victims have already passed away, leaving only about 60 alive now. A ministry spokesperson told reporters Thursday that Seoul will wait and see how relations with Tokyo develop to decide whether and when to actually send the statement. If that happens, it won't be the first time such documents have been sent. Similar statements were delivered twice in 2011 but went unanswered by Japan. Tokyo's stance has been that all matters regarding wartime sexual slavery were settled when the two countries signed a treaty in 1965. President Park Geun-hye has stressed how much the country's intermediate-sized businesses contribute to Korea's economy and urged them to take a leap forward to gain a further competitive edge in the global market. During a luncheon with leaders of mid-sized companies at the presidential office of Cheongwadae on Thursday, the president promised to build what she called a growth ladder, helping the firms develop into bigger growth engines.
중견기업이 되더라도 R&D, 세제 등 꼭 필요한 지원은 계속해서 기업의 부담이 갑작스럽게 늘어나는 일이 없도록 할 것입니다.
And at a meeting of the National Economic Advisory Council earlier in the day, President Park emphasized it is important to have concrete outcomes from the government's push to utilize the concept of the creative economy. She added her administration will put priority on restoring the middle class to 70% of the nation's population.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Today we have the stories on Representative Lee Seok-gi decorating the front pages of most of our newspapers. Now let's first take a look at our 통화일보, and the headline up here reads, "Warrant to detain Lee Seok-gi filed for." As you heard from the headlines just earlier, prosecutors have filed for a warrant to temporarily detain the leftist lawmaker, and the paper has more details on his background. Citing public authorities, the Daily says Lee was called the chief of the secret organization, Revolutionary Organization, in the audio files obtained by the National Intelligence Service. An official says Lee within his hidden group was treated as the equivalent of North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un. Citing another official, the paper says Representative Lee also mentioned the Bolshevik Revolution, saying that certain deaths from the public are inevitable for the sake of a nationwide revolution. At another meeting, the paper tells us that Lee also said, quote unquote, to his members to strengthen their spirits to face off with the imperialistic United States and create new history through a unified Korea. The National Intelligence Service says that the secret organization had met for a total of 40 times since 2010 until as recently as May of this year. Let's go on over to our next daily, Gyeongyang Shinmun, which also has the story on Representative Lee on its front page. The headline up here reads, "Warrant to detain Unified Progressive Party Lee Seok-gi requested." Now, Representative Lee Seok-gi and 3 others from Lee's group who have also been arrested are awaiting the decision by the prosecutor's office on approving the detention warrant. On Thursday, Representative Lee denied all the charges, saying the spy agency, which has been criticized for meddling in last year's presidential election, fabricated the case as part of political repression against left-leaning politicians. Now, a group of human rights lawyers is working in defense of Representative Lee, as well as 13 other leftist figures that are under investigation by the NIS. The lawyers, according to the paper, say all of the figures are claiming innocence and are not cooperating with the NIS investigation.
Now, that is a mysterious smile and some laid-back attitude for someone who's being accused of conspiring against the government.
Exactly.
You're right, and this is Lee coming out of a meeting with party leaders where he flatly denied all these allegations. And the caption under says that he is trying to keep a straight face, which is in stark contrast to the party members surrounding him, who's actually showing a very stern and serious face. So that's pretty interesting, like you said. Let's go on to our next daily, which is Korea Economic Daily. And let's go directly by taking a look at the article right under. And the headline over here reads, President Park makes sure inner circle work distribution regulation doesn't create unnecessary damage. The inner circle workers distribution is where larger companies assign contracts to their affiliates. So President Park Geun-hye held a luncheon with 30 leaders of the mid-sized businesses on Thursday, where she said she will work to make sure there's no damage from the inner circle work distribution regulation. The paper says that she's referring to the fact that the majority of companies that would be taxed from the inner circle work distribution system regulation were small to medium-sized companies. She went on to say that the medium-sized businesses are the backbone of our economy. Let's go on over to our last daily 중앙일보, and which also has a story covering Isak, but let's take a look at the story right on the side story right over here. The headline reads, leading figure in sinking of the Cheonan warship Kim Gyeok-sik dismissed from Chief of Staff. So the small photo of this person here shows the recently dismissed Chief of North Korea's Army, Kim Gyeok-sik. Citing South Korea's government official, the paper says Kim's dismissal has been decided at military meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un this past Sunday. The Daily, citing a different military official, says it is most likely the punishment for the North Korean ship that was impounded by Panama for carrying missile parts. The paper notes that Kim has visited Cuba back in June to discuss their recent dealings, as well as military cooperation between the two countries. But after failing to bring about any results, the meeting has only led to North Korea's international humiliation. We will leave it at that for your look at what's in print today. Next up are your closing numbers from Thursday's Market Action.
All right, time now to get a check on the weather with our Dami, who didn't travel far for this assignment.
That's right. She's joining us right outside the Arirang News studios. Good morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Dami. How's the weather looking outside?
Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday morning. I'm reporting live from Jeju, right outside of Arirang. Now, this morning, the sun is out and about. However, the skies are partly cloudy. It looks like for today's morning commutes, you won't have to make use of your umbrellas, but you may want to carry a portable one around with you because we may expect some sporadic or pop-up showers later in the afternoon. Now, as of now, down in the southern provinces, including Jeju Island, it is currently raining. Down in South Jeolla Province and North and South Gyeongsang Province, the rain will end by this morning. As for Jeju Island, it'll continue on today and then end later in the evening. Now, after the rain has ceased here in Seoul, the temperatures have gotten a bit cooler. This morning, it's at 23 degrees Celsius, and later our highs will reach up to 28 degrees. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the numbers across the nation. Daejeon looks similar to Seoul at 28. Daegu, Gangneung, and Busan will all rise to 29. Gwangju's highs at 28, and Jeju will peak to 30 degrees. Tomorrow here in Seoul, we can expect similar conditions as today. Down in South Gyeongsang Province and Jeju Island, rain will be in the picture again tomorrow, but conditions will clear up by the morning. That's all for the weather forecast. I'll be back in a few moments.
Supernatural themes are all the rage in Korean dramas. Are you into the paranormal? Do you believe in psychic connection? You may want to tune in to some of these chilling and thrilling television shows. More on Korea Today.
That was intentional of your
You
voice.
like these stories,
Korea
don't
Today.
you?
Ooh, pull you
All
off.
right, well, this weekend marks the 10th anniversary of the launch of the radio service at our station, Arirang, and every day since then, it has been providing information on the news and travel tips, and of course, your daily dose of K-pop.
That's right. As the very first English language radio station in Korea, Arirang Radio has helped spread Korea's culture to people around the world and listeners around the world who are interested in Korea. And to take a look back at the 10 years of Arirang Radio, we prepared this special report. The first English radio channel in Korea, Arirang Radio. It launched in 2003 with an FM channel in Jeju Island and is sharing the authentic culture and lifestyle of Korea with many foreigners as the country continues to expand its reach globally. The service, which kicked off only as an FM service in Jeju Island, is now carried through terrestrial and satellite DMB channels, becoming available in the greater metropolitan area and across the country.
I'm just imagining if you
How then are some of the best radio contents put together? We take a tour to one of Arirang Radio's production sites. This is at Super K-pop, one of the most popular shows that runs daily from 4 to 6 p.m.
people are liking this. Yes, so my name's Sam Carter. I'm DJ of Super K-pop on Arirang Radio.
The show is hosted by singer Sam Carter from the group Lunafly, who captures his listeners with his upbeat energy. Other members from Lunafly joined in this day, giving it an extra lively kick full of energy.
Hello, I'm Teo from Lunafly.
Hi, I'm the youngest in the group, Yoon. With the radio show, we get more mentions on Twitter from different countries, so that's when I feel like we are getting more popular.
With more people showing interest in Arirang Radio's service overseas, there has been a spike in feedback from global listeners. Within the past year, the number of comments the station's website has received jumped from 20,000 to 440,000, a shocking 22-fold increase.
Feedback for the show is pretty good. We get, on average, I think, between 1,000, 2,000 messages a day, and we've had a high of, I think, 8,000 messages for one day, which was obviously great feedback, so yes.
Every day from noon to 2 in the afternoon, K-Popin', hosted by one of the station's leading hosts, DJ Isak, is broadcasted.
My show K-Popin'. I try to give you guys some of the best and hottest K-pop on Arirang Radio.
K-Popin' has also seen a significant growth in interaction with global listeners. Arirang Radio's programs have increased the rate of K-pop music in their playlist and brought on board K-pop stars as hosts and guests, as well as increasing channels of access, such as mobile applications and YouTube services, making it easier for global listeners to tune in and send in their feedback. The K-pop content makeup, which was initially at 10%, was brought up to 80%, helping Arirang Radio make a mark globally as an expanding Korean radio service within just a year and a half. With the radio station becoming an open arena for foreigners to share information about Korea, the content streamed from the current shows are also being exported overseas. It has not been common so far to have the entire contents from a radio station be exported, and many attribute this to the aggressive Hallyu marketing and the station's role as a cultural content provider, which has helped Arirang Radio solidify its role within just a decade after first opening its doors.
And to tell us more about this exciting milestone, we've invited two radio hosts from Arirang Radio, Isak and Aron. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, well, I'll start with you, Isak, since you're the 선배. You've been with the station for the longest, right?
I guess.
Tell us about your program. It's called K-Popin', and not to be confused with K-Popping, right?
Yes.
K-Popin'.
K-Popin'. There's an N at the end, an apostrophe. Actually, a very wise senior that I know here at Arirang gave us the name of the show. But when we got the name of the show, because for me, I was doing pop and K-pop for a while, and then my show recently changed to a nothing but K-pop show. For me, I really do enjoy working on more K-pop now because I'm no longer in the scene as a singer, and I still get a chance to tap in with the younger artists, some artists that I already know, like the one sitting next to me. He's not only a DJ, but he's also a K-pop star that's getting a lot of love from around the world.
Okay, speaking of which, so you have spent a majority of, well, you've been there for the majority of the decade of Arirang, but Aron, you haven't been at Arirang as long, and you also have a new album out under the group name Newest, and with the single Sleepwalking, right, or Sleep Talking,
Sleep-talking,
right? Yes. So you're juggling two different jobs at the same time, and you've also been with Arirang for a couple of semesters. Tell us about your experience with Arirang Radio.
You know, I think it's a blessing for me to be on Arirang Radio as a DJ because, you know, I've always wanted to try something out on the radio, but to have my own program, it's definitely a blessing, I think, so.
Yeah, so, Isak, tell us about the past decade of Arirang Radio through the eyes of a person who's been here the longest. I mean, you've definitely been more, longer than I have here.
Yeah, I did start off as the youngest DJ once, but now I'm no longer the youngest, and he is.
You're the oldest now, right?
One of the oldest.
Let's not go into this age thing.
We'll not talk about ages, but yeah, I've been with Arirang Radio for 7 years now. Arirang TV, I was there with them for 4 years, and as I've been there, I mean, of course, our message boards, as we saw on the video earlier, we have been seeing a lot more increase on the message boards. Not only that, when I go overseas now, thanks to the technology of smartphones and whatnot, we've been seeing a lot more listeners in general because of the technology that we have. With everybody being on their smartphones, being able to tune in. They're not supposed to, but during class or while at work when their boss is passing by, they'll be listening to us with their earphones and whatnot.
Which is also not recommended.
Exactly, but I've actually had a couple of our listeners post on our message board that I laughed so hard at your joke that my boss just stared at me. I don't know what to do. But yeah, I've seen a big growth since then. And of course, nowadays, it's now to when we call the celebrities to come out, the managers and the celebrities are like, ooh, Arirang Radio, yes, we'll go. So yeah, there's been a big growth.
All right, Aron, so like we mentioned, you've been on for a couple of semesters. Well, you've reached this 10-year milestone. I mean, a decade in English language broadcasting with the station. How does it feel to reach that milestone?
I'm not sure actually, a milestone? What do you mean by milestone?
Well, Arirang is basically, Arirang Radio is celebrating its 10th year.
Right.
So it's 10th year birthday.
Right.
It's a
so how
decade.
does it feel being part of it?
It's a long time.
Even though I'm new to the program, to Arirang Radio, I think I'm blessed and it's great to be a part of the 10th year anniversary. I think so. I want to work harder as a new DJ. So, guys, look forward to. Aron.
Right.
So your fans are obviously congratulating you as well on the 10th year as well.
Yes, they tune in every day, I think.
All right.
Well, both of your programs have a lot of interaction with your listeners overseas. And share with us some of the funny episodes, if you will.
I'm really bad with geography. So every once in a while, I will have countries that I've never seen before. And so thanks to the internet, I have to look them up because we've been getting listeners. In the past 7 years, we used to have, American listeners, Philippine listeners, maybe Canada, Australia. That was pretty much the most that we got. But these days, Tunisia, Peru, Chile, Africa.
Really diverse.
Yeah, very diverse.
I see.
And we're getting a lot of feedback, and especially when we have artists like Newest, some of the newer teams. I'm surprised because I realized that they just debuted about a week ago, but we're already getting millions and millions of messages on the message board because they're like, oh, Oppa, I love you. Oppa, you're so cute. So what's your ideal type and that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I just know that they debuted a week ago. How is it that people halfway across the world are already knowing so much about these artists that we don't even know yet?
No messages for you saying, Onni, you're so beautiful?
I've actually had a few of our listeners saying, like, I like what you're wearing today, and so...
you can actually watch. It's a radio station, but you can actually watch.
Yeah, recently,
visual radio also.
over the years, we have been able to enhance the visuals now. So yes, we do have live news feeds, so you guys can see us on video. And so yeah, recently I've been wearing a little bit more makeup to work, making sure that I'm,
the case.
Yeah,
right
making sure I look, of course,
Mm.
look a little bit better than I normally do. But yeah,
Right.
You know what, Aron, I'm sorry, but I jumped a question there. I wanted to ask you about the program Music Access. It's from 2 to 4 p.m.
Yes.
Can you just give us a quick intro about that?
Yes, Music Access, it's on from 2 to 4 p.m. every day, and we let the listeners from overseas learn about the latest pop songs and news, and we talk a little bit about K-pop as well. So,
So it's basically everything is K-pop based from 12 to 4 p.m., 4 hours of K-pop.
That, and also we even have our evening shows, and even now some of our early morning shows are focusing on different genres of K-pop as well. So a little bit on the indie side, we got a little bit more of the bands and whatnot. So yeah, in the past couple of years, we've been seeing a lot more growth in the focus to K-pop on Arirang Radio.
And there are many other channels out there, and another English channel also on the radio. What sets you apart from all those competitors out there?
I think that because Arirang Radio did start it all, we don't try too hard. It just naturally comes out. Also, I think that when it comes to us being, I guess, the first, it helps us to kind of get more information out there faster instead of, going up against our competition. So.
Okay. Speaking of competition, there's no other English radio competition in the island of Jeju. When you're talking about Arirang Radio, you can't leave out that island. So we'll take a look at how Jeju is faring with Arirang Radio and the history of Arirang Radio in Jeju.
One of Korea's most beautiful destinations, Jeju Island. This is where Arirang Radio has its deepest roots in. The station first opened its doors on September 1st, 2003, when it was designated a free international city to show the increasing number of foreign visitors the true face of Jeju and Korea. It has been a decade since Arirang Radio launched its English FM service in Jeju, and since then it's been playing a crucial role in sharing with the world the strengths of Korea's culture and arts. And last Wednesday, a special concert was put on stage to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the birth of Arirang Radio in none other than its birthplace, Jeju Island. And it's not only this year, but every year that a Arirang Radio K-pop concert takes place on Jeju Island. The annual performance provides a cultural venue for foreigners as well as tourists to experience Korea's pop culture. And Arirang Jeju's leading radio show is titled Wonders of Jeju.
I'm the host of Wonders of Jeju here on Arirang Radio.
Our program Wonders of Jeju provides a lot of information about Jeju Island, including tips about traveling, the local dialect, and political news. So we play the role of letting our fans overseas have a better understanding about the island.
The program, hosted by Joseph Kim every day from 10 p.m. to midnight, shares all you need to know about the island. Wonders of Jeju is playing an important role in promoting the beauties of the island, but also sharing and spreading the attractions of K-pop and Hallyu culture. What makes Wonders of Jeju such a popular show with foreigners? First, it provides practical information on traveling, cultural events, the weather, hot stories in town, and language tips for the local dialect.
Wonders of Jeju, and then also just listening as I was driving in the car, hearing K-pop, and it's just really fun. And then as there was an opportunity to get involved working here, teaching Jeju language.
It's not only K-pop and the Hallyu wave, but Korea's rich cultural contents that it provides more insight and understanding on. Arirang Radio has for the past 10 years played a pivotal role in sharing with the world what the true Korea looks like, and will continue on with that journey.
Congratulations, Arirang Radio, and your 10th anniversary. Way to go.
Here's to another 100 more.
We hope that you guys go for another 100 years, even 200 years. Arirang, 화이팅!
200 years, that's an ambitious goal right there.
Yeah,
we won't be around.
Exactly. I mean, Isak, I've seen you host, I just saw you host the 10th year anniversary concert for Arirang Radio. What was it like being you were obviously the founding members of the station.
Well, I mean, for me, I remember when I first started Arirang, it was like, I think maybe not even 5 months into working as a DJ, I was kind of jumped into a concert in Jeju, fully live. It wasn't pre-recorded, it was live radio, and we had singers back to back. It was chaos, everybody was running around. But I think because I was kind of pushed into that in the beginning, I've loved each and every concert, and especially in Jeju, everybody there is so enthusiastic about the singers and us as well. They give us amazing feedback and energy, so every time we go there, it's just like, we want more as hosts. So it is a very amazing experience.
And share with us some of your goals as hosts and maybe the goals that the station has, Arirang Radio.
Well, I think that there's been a little bit of a change recently with our last lineup. We've, of course, seen a lot more artists like Aron and a lot more idols, like you saw earlier, Sam Carter and everybody else. There's a new chapter in the fact that we're trying to incorporate the idols themselves into DJs or as guests on our shows to kind of broaden the horizon of K-pop and also of Arirang Radio, so that the fans will be like, oh, I like this artist, oh, they host this show, or they're a guest at this show, to kind of bring more listeners in that way. And I think that, you know, this is just the beginning. We can probably get more and more, and down the years, you know, we'll probably see a lot more idol stars being hosts on the shows.
And what about you, Aron?
My personal goal is I'm in the group New East, if you guys didn't know. Well, I'm sure you guys know. Of course. We have 5 members, including myself. And 4 of them are Korean people, and they can't speak English. So my goal would be to teach them English and maybe bring them into the studio.
Be a teacher.
And maybe be like an English teacher to them, maybe.
And you know, you have your group, you have your band, you have your music. You also have a gateway of speaking to your fans directly at a more personal level through radio. So I wish you luck with that.
Thank you.
Okay, for our listeners or for our viewers who may not know about Arirang Radio or how to listen, what's the easiest way to listen?
Our homepage, www.arirang.co.kr. Wow, I've been saying this like a bazillion times a day, but yeah.
Every single day for the last 7 years, right?
Also, we have our application, and so it's free. Everything is free. Everybody loves free, so don't forget. My show's from 12 to 2 p.m. Also, his show's from 2 to 4. And so don't forget to listen in. You get K-pop with mine, and then you got some pop and even some K-pop artists with his show back to back.
Wait, do you guys have a podcast as well, or a way for people to listen?
Yes, we do. We do have podcasts. What it is we have the audio on demand. And so when we have celebrities join us, our staff members really vigorously edit all of that, and then they put it online for you guys. So you guys get a chance to check us out on YouTube as well, because we do post the videos of the artists that come to perform for us as well. So
all right, we'll let you guys sign off the way you do it on your program every day, your signature sign off.
Do you want to go first?
Okay, my signature sign off would probably be, for all of my listeners, we're going to listen to this and this track as I say goodbye. Stay tuned for more from Arirang Radio, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Goodbye, everyone. Annyeong.
Okay. And you?
All right, Aron.
Same time, same place tomorrow, guys. I will see you there. Peace.
Hey.
There's like a mic, there's no camera, but I do peace anyways, like by myself in the studio.
All right, well, good luck to both of you, and get back to work upstairs, right?
Exactly. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Happy 10th year anniversary to Arirang Radio. And speaking of which, we're going to be joined by Lee Da-mi, who is at one of the programs that's airing right now. So let's take a look.
So I'm back reporting live from Arirang Radio because today is a special day. It does mark the 10th anniversary of Arirang Radio. And I want to go ahead and take this opportunity to show you around the studio. So it's hard to believe that Arirang Radio is Korea's first English broadcasting station because now it is a global Hallyu radio station. Right now, we're gonna have to kind of keep our voices a little down. It's from 7 to 9 a.m. is when Sunny Side Up is broadcasting live. So from Monday to Friday, we have the oh so beautiful and energetic DJ Jenny Cho hosting the show right here live. All right, so this is kind of how everything goes with inside the studio. Listeners can enjoy K-pop tunes, a lot of different music. She's waving hi. Now, just like Isak mentioned in the studio, you can always listen to Arirang Radio live through the internet, but also through your handphones by easily downloading the application, the Arirang Radio application. Now, Arirang Radio really aims towards helping international listeners learn about Korea's culture, but also the tourism, real life, weather, traffic, and also up-to-date domestic and international news. But they also do aim to help expats that live here in Korea. So this is your look inside Arirang Radio. Have a wonderful weekend and congratulations on the 10th anniversary. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
And still ahead, Koreans are known for their spicy dishes and the loads of chilies that go into them. Our chef Matthew Chung visits a farm to pick some of the freshest and hottest chilies and whips up some easy to make but scrumptious dishes. Stay tuned for that. So the key word these days in drama seems to be supernatural powers. I can read your mind kind of stuff. Yeah, I know what you're thinking right now.
That's right. Korean dramas, they've gone out of their ways to really show a different side and tell different stories with brand new themes. And that theme happens to be ghosts, goblins, ghouls, psychics, the paranormal, all that and more, even a bit of supernatural powers there. We'll take a look at what's trending in the drama world these days.
Master Son.
I watch Who Are You a lot.
I love watching Good Doctor.
The main character is intellectually disabled, but he's a hospital resident. It's a new theme, so I enjoy watching it.
From seeing ghosts to reading the minds of others, Korea's dramas have been swept up in the supernatural. We take a look at the secret behind this popular trend. Supernatural dramas are popular not only for their unique stories, but also the innovative and impressive visual effects. How are these shows born? We take a trip around the production site of Who Are You to find out how. The melodrama revolves around the main character who can see ghosts. Even though it's a cable channel drama, Who Are You is widely popular with its viewers. One of K-pop's biggest names, 2PM's Ok Tae-hyun, takes on the lead male role and transforms into a detective named Cha Gun-woo.
후아유의 주연을 맡은 신인 배우 옥태견입니다.
The charismatic singer on stage this time puts on the face of a seemingly cold and rough detective who is also warm and compassionate, making his mark as an actor. Meanwhile, So Hee-hyun, who plays the role of Yang Si-on, admits it's not easy playing the role of someone with special powers.
아무 준비 없이 진짜 보면 정말로 놀래요, 진짜로. 그 귀신들을 밤에 한꺼번에 보면 되게 팩트가 컸을 텐데 그나마 낮에 찍어서 조금 괜찮지 않았나.
But she's more than willing to throw herself into the acting to make each scene more realistic. This goes the same for Ok Tae-hyun, who has completely immersed himself in the role. Because of this, there have been some dangerous moments.
그 와이어 타고 그 옥상에서 애 잡는 거는 정말 힘들었어요. 정말 죽는 줄 알았어요. 뛰어다니고 뭐 이런 거는 괜찮은데 되게 오랜만에 정말 힘이 다 빠져서 이렇게 누워 있는 거였어요. 어우, 다시는 하고 싶지 않네요.
And it's not only Who Are You. Various characters with supernatural powers are appearing in other dramas. I Hear Your Voice is a fantasy romantic comedy drama featuring a character who can read other people's thoughts that was popular with many.
그렇게 노려보면 없던 증거가 하늘에서 뚝 떨어지기라도 한다니? 난 다른 사람 마음을 읽을 수 있어. 그게 증거야.
옆에서 자고 싶어요.
The show Master Son, which is still airing, drives a story with a character who can see ghosts just like in Who Are You, also being able to communicate with them. And the supernatural fantasy wave doesn't stop there. The boom is also in medical dramas. The TV series Good Doctor is led by a medical genius who turns out to have the savant syndrome, allowing for abnormal skills.
내 경정맥을 절개해서 직접 수액을 주사하도록 함.
The show currently ranks #1 in its Monday-Tuesday time slot. But what is the main secret behind the immense popularity of these dramas?
We're seeing a difference in taste between generations. Older generations are more interested in conflicts in reality, but younger generations don't care about that and simply want to enjoy the entertainment value of things.
The common thread between these shows is that even though they revolve around fantasy, they look increasingly real. The perfect marriage between the world of reality and the supernatural allows the shows to go beyond what could be a light genre.
지금 할 말 있어요. 미치게만 들어 네가 날 울게 만들어 네가
And it's time to get a look at a Friday feast. Joining us is Matthew Chung. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So what do you have for us this week?
Today I have probably what's known as Korea's signature flavor. It's chilies, and I got a fantastic opportunity to head out to a farm out in Yangpyeong, which is out in Gyeonggi province. And so, I got to pick some of the freshest chilies around, and while I was out there, I couldn't miss the opportunity, of course, to cook with them. So let's check it out. To me, there's nothing that says summer like peppers. And whether you decide to call them chiles, peppers, capsicum, doesn't matter because it's all delicious. They've got that spiciness to them, which is why we're out here in Yangpyeong. It's where the air is clean and the water's crisp. So we've come straight to the farm where we can pick some peppers and make something delicious out of them. All right, so these are the famous Korean peppers that give Korean cuisine its signature fiery bite. And it comes in two varieties, but really it just comes from one plant. So it starts off green, pukgochu, and this one, its crunchiness refreshing. And then you have punggochu, the red one, and this is what it looks like when it fully matures. All right, so today we're gonna make a Korean schoolyard classic. It's kimbap, and we're gonna make it with gochu, with the peppers. We don't want any of the seeds in here, just because the texture's not the greatest. So, slice the peppers down the middle. So if you want to remove the seeds and the ribs from a pepper, easiest tool to use, spoon. See how easy that is? Just come right out. Like so. And chop. All right, and there you go. That's going to be our egg. So now, this is the kim in the kimbap. It's laver, and it's going to be what's used as the wrapper for our kimbap. And then here we have our rice. With the rice, you don't want it to be too warm, but at the same time, you don't want it to be too cold. If it's too cold, it's going to be stiff, it's going to be hard to work with. But if it's too hot, then it's going to immediately steam up that kim and make it soggy, and you don't want that. Let's first start with some ham, always a favorite. Just going to go on like so. And then finally, we get the star of the show, the gochu. So we're gonna go a little bit heavier on this than the other ingredients, just because it is a star after all. All right, and then finally, we're gonna lay down our egg. Roll, 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 roll. And voila, there we go. So there you have it. It couldn't be simpler. This is the Korean equivalent to, a ham sandwich. Just something simple, but it's a childhood delight. And it really does bring me back to when I was a kid. And you know what? One bite of this? The thing about chon is it's all about preparation. You want to have everything ready to go. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to crack our eggs for the egg wash. 2. If you have too much, well, scrambled eggs later. You don't really want big chunks of raw onion in your chon. Instead, you just want it to be nice and light and aromatic. So right on top of here, we're gonna add a little bit of tubu. Now, what this tubu is going to do is going to add a little bit of moisture, and it's going to lighten the whole thing up just a little bit. And a little bit of sesame oil, even less. So first, we want to take our peppers, we'll line them up like this. You have to be very delicate about this. Dredge in a little bit of flour. Into the egg wash it goes. One, 2. All right, so there you have it. This is gochujang. It's got pork in there, it's got the peppers. Really, what's not to love?
And we have some right in front of us.
That's right. So today I brought some breakfast, spicy breakfast. Although before you guys get to eat, y'all have to bear with my little lecture first.
All right, lecture us. This is Spices 101.
So we're going to start with the most common types of peppers that you find here in Korea. So starting here from the bottom, we have gwarigochu. And now this is, it's known for its texture. It's got kind of a nubbly texture to it. And it's fantastic as it is. It's great roasted. You could have it, dipped in a little bit of samjang. And here it's oikochu. And now oi is known as cucumber. So it's called oikochu because it's crunchy, it's delicious, it's got that sort of
size.
I mean, like it's similar in size to a cucumber as well, and it's got a great refreshing bite to it. And then here we have the two most common types of Korean peppers. They're the hongochu, red, and pukgochu, the green. And the hongochu is the one that gets dried, gets turned into gochugaru, the Korean red pepper powder. And then the pukgochu is probably the one you see most culinarily was it used in Korea.
Right, and it's not just the pukgochu that is used in cooking, right? You have all these different types of, are there more? 청양고추.
There's 청양고추
spicy
too.
stuff,
and
right?
yeah, speaking of 청양고추, that's the spicy one. That's the one that gives Korean cuisine a lot of its kick. That's not from 고춧가루 or gochujang. And speaking of 청양고추, we have some in kimbap right here.
Okay,
No.
so
That means
the
don't
kimbap,
touch.
right?
No, I don't think so because as soon as we brought this into the studio, Young was thrilled.
I feel like we have to drink a cup of milk before we have that kimbap.
There it is,
Might
right
hurt
there.
your stomach.
There
That's
he
right.
is. This is the 청양고추, which is known as like the hottest peppers here in Korea. But speaking of chili, I gotta try this. But first, I'm speaking of chili peppers. Chili farming actually began in Bolivia. I mean, with all the foods that pepper is used here in Korea, you might think is native, but it's not native to Korea, is it?
Not at all. No, it's native to South and Central America. So yeah, like you said, it was first cultivated in Bolivia, southwestern Ecuador, in that region about 6,000 years ago. And it's only been in Korea for about 500-600 years, brought over by the Portuguese. Yeah, so before then, kimchi didn't have its signature red color because there were no peppers.
Do I have to pay for this lecture? No, thank you. Do I have to pay for the lecture?
Yeah,
You
just
can
go
pay for
ahead
it
and
in
eat
sheer
it,
heat.
and you'll be the one crying.
You know what?
afterwards.
The funny thing is, though, I've seen many people believe that eating chilies will make you lose weight. And is that why you're eating?
Is that are those tears coming out of your eyes?
Hold on. Well, actually, if you want to try 청양고추, like the spicy Korean pepper, kimbap might not be the worst way to go about it, just because the rice that's in the kimbap helps sort of tame that heat a little bit. And back to your question, Hyungyang, about do peppers help you lose weight? There is a theory that capsaicin, that the substance in peppers that give it its heat, breaks down fat. Now, that's not necessarily verified or not, but one thing it sure does is that it promotes this idea of satiety, like that it helps satisfy you. It definitely helps kill that hunger and leaves you satisfied. And part of that is because capsaicin isn't really a flavor, it's more of a texture.
No wonder I crave for hot, spicy stuff when I'm under a lot of stress. I always wondered why.
Oh, I mean, I think just like spicy food, just like salty food, just like sweet food. When you're stressed out, at least for me, I want something that's packed with flavor.
And there's a saying in Korean, 작은 고추가 맵다, which means the smaller, the spicier. Is that true?
It is true to like 99% of the time, although there are some peppers out there that will definitely throw you off. So the rule of thumb is that if it's small and it's smooth, it's generally going to be spicy.
Of course, this saying is used in figurative term, not necessarily in literal term, but still, it holds water.
That's true. I mean, the small guy, packs a punch, and he's going to go up there and try to make his presence known.
There's got to be the world's smallest peppers in there because this is pretty hot, actually.
Is it really?
I mean, the 청양고추 is a hot gochu.
Some water, some coffee for you?
I mean, it is 7 times hotter than your average pukgochu, which is this guy, which isn't all that hot, but it can pack a bit of a kick. But in terms of sheer Scoville units, which are the units that are used to measure the spiciness of peppers, 7 times hotter than this guy.
Okay, real quickly, I have a question. How do you differentiate a hot pepper from a mild pepper?
It's just by luck.
Exactly. I mean,
simple as that.
I mean, these guys, they can really throw you off.
I've seen people
They
open it and
smell
smell it.
right?
And they will deceive you, though.
Yeah. I mean, the smell to a certain extent can tell you just because capsaicin, it is a volatile aromatic. So, once you break it open, it will release into the air a little bit. But even then, sometimes it can be a bit of a gamble.
And the thing is, you can't really break it open before you buy them. Is the problem.
That's true. I'd imagine that more than a couple of people have been thrown out of supermarkets just for doing that.
All right, well, thank you, Matthew, for that. See you next week.
Always a pleasure.
All right, so I'm going to gather up my courage and try that pepper.
Try that one.
고추전, and you'll have to wrap up the show.
All right, enjoy it. Try it first.
I'm going to start crying now.
All right, while Minjung starts crying over those hot peppers, we'll see you back here on Monday. Have a great Friday, and once again, have a good weekend.
It's not that hot, actually.
Oh, it's not?